Hello my game design gurus, and welcome to the Level Design Lobby. Hey everyone, I hope you are well, playing and or making the games that you love. You're joining me, your host, Max Pears. And thank you very much for joining me. It is that time of the month, the beginning, where I break down the top 5 things that you should check out as a game dev, which you'll find useful, whether it be articles, podcasts, videos, and much more. So, let's jump into it. I hope you're all doing well, and we're going to go straight into it with a YouTube video by Game Array, and it is called On Making Players Feel with Mechanics. Now, many of you know I've written articles similar along these lines as well before. It actually uses pretty much the same examples that I've used, but I always think it's good to hear what other people have to say. And I'm 100% with it. I agree with it. As I said, I've wrote about this article before. Straight on with the English. And yeah, I think it's a really good one, and it's really worth checking out. Before we move on to number 2, I do have to preference this. This one might be quicker than normal. And the only reason for this is because I've come back from E3 and I've gone straight into a lot of work. And I haven't really had a chance to sit down and read or watch much stuff as much as I would love to, which is a real shame. So with that, I've kind of asked some friends for some tips on which ones they've enjoyed. So I haven't been able to keep up to date with the latest stuff as much as I would have liked to. But this is also a place for me to put down and bookmark the things that I intend to read later. So yeah, that'll be the first one. And let's move on to numero dos. This is an article, the second one, should I say, is an article on Gamma Sutra, which is what we do to understand our players better. Now, this is a very interesting one, and in a previous episode on the recommended reading list, I did suggest a podcast on about how people can understand their players better, the different motives and stuff. And this one's breaking it down again, showing how basically a studio takes the time to learn their players better. I know Ubisoft does similar things. So I think it's great, and I think we should all kind of be figuring this out together. How can we understand our players better? We as gamers, and especially us as game devs, we don't play games for the same reason as some of the players. So it's important to know that and figure out how we can understand each other better in order to make better games that appeal to the audience. I recommend taking a look over at this one, guys. It looks great. We're now going to move on to the third one. Yeah, this is flying through, so again, I do apologize on how short this episode is. It's kind of guess with me being busy, I haven't had much chance to read much. So again, I do apologize for this, and I hope you understand. Number 3 is another article on Gamma Sutra, which is called Spoiled for Choice, the psychology of choice overload in games and how to avoid it. And this seems like a really interesting one, as it's about how we can overwhelm players with certain choices, whether it be the characters select and say something like League of Legends or Overwatch, to something like routes to throughout a level. So it's worth checking out. I really strongly recommend looking at this. I think it's a great one. Sometimes simplicity is key, other times it depends on very much the game. So keep that in mind. It does depend on the game. But let's take a look and see what it's like. I think you might enjoy what you have here. Before we jump any further on into the final 2, I want to do a horribly shameless plug here. And that is for the Level Design Lobby's Patreon. We have currently just passed goal number 4, which is amazing. And it is about bringing all you lovely people together with us and having more of a connection with you all through the Patreon. We also offer a lot as well, such as brochures on how to improve stuff, such as your portfolio, as well as a brochure on some of the level design tips that I always consider, and my favorite level design tips when creating level. We also then have the level design weekend, which is what most people are excited about. As the level design weekend is where I give you all a brief, and you have to make a level within this weekend. Not this weekend coming, but in a weekend, should I say. And much more. The Discord server where we talk, webinars, and much, much more. So please do come join us, as people are really enjoying it. We're now in the second month, and it's been an absolute pleasure for those who have already joined. And together we're making something amazing, I feel. And because of all the support there, and I hope you felt it as well, the podcast is only getting better. So please come join us. Now that we've got that, let's go on to the fourth one, which isn't necessarily about video games, but I thought it was an interesting one. As many of you know, I do listen to Magic the Gathering Drive to Work podcast. I think it's got some amazing things to take away from. It may not be about level design or even video game design, but it still has some amazing fundamental design nuggets in there which are always worth listening to. I really enjoy the podcast. And on that vein, I found this one called Card Games, A Simple Design is Good Design. And this is more talking about when you're designing the card games, but also how do you show that and convey that in the cards as well, which is obviously their main product, which I think is really cool. So I think, I'm saying so a lot again, I think it's really worth checking out and just seeing game design from a different perspective on a different type of game, which to me is always important and always really fun to see that stuff. So go check that out. Then we have the final one. Now this one is from GDC, and this is by Blake. He is actually a friend of mine. We've had an absolute pleasure of talking to each other on Twitter, and he's an absolutely great designer. He's had a really cool career, and he's a really good dude. I can't say enough nice things about him. And he's just given, well, not just, but gave a talk at GDC, I think this year or last year. This year. Sorry, guys. Where's my head at? But it's about level design and basically how they've done this, balancing the RPG elements and creating their quests within in Horizon Zero Dawn. Sorry, guys, I'm stumbling on my words. But it's a really good talk. I've really enjoyed it. I've already tweeted out the link earlier. If you don't follow me on Twitter, do so at MaxPairs. But check it out. I think it's a great one, and it's really cool to see, again, how other studios do this, and there's always a lot to learn from one another. So check that out. It's not a long talk. It's only 30 minutes long. So please, go check that out. It's on YouTube. And there we have it. And if you don't know by now, all of these will be in the descriptions down below. So you can check them out and go read or watch these from here. It's always great to share this stuff. And if you guys have anything for me, and if you're on the Patreon, send it through the power of Discord. Otherwise, tweet me at MaxPairs or email me leveldesignlobby@gmail.com. Please do all of this. That'd be great. And as I said, please support the Patreon. So it's a bit of a smaller episode. I apologize. As I said, I've not had a great chance to go through anything, to be honest, and that's going to change. These are the top 5 on my to read and to watch list. So, well, I've already seen Blake's, but the rest are all on there. Thank you all very much. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all next time.